My name is Natalie and my girl. Oh, what?
I know.
My name is Lauren. If you notice by in the background, we're in a new place. Natalie and I moved. So usually Natalie is right next to me, but today is gonna be just me. Baby did my makeup, so I'm real excited today, you know. And today's video is talking about how I quit my job. If you're interested in knowing a little bit of why I chose to quit my job, then stick around. I'm gonna let y'all know right now, I can't breathe out my nose, so I'm sounding real congested right now. So I actually love teaching. Years ago, I was introduced to a tutoring program and I had no intentions of teaching, but when I was out of college, the tutoring job was the very first job I got, and I fell in love with teaching. What I loved about it is the connections I make with students and their families. I have very good connections with my students, and that makes me more excited about teaching them math. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I was a math teacher. Before the pandemic, it was very fast paced. It was emails coming in, it was connect with these families, put these grades in. It was normal. Teaching was you show up for 8 to 10 hours, you plan, you lesson plan is meetings, long meetings they should have sent in an email, but that was pre-pandemic. During the pandemic, of course, schools closed for a whole school year, a whole academic year, and we turned virtual. When we went virtual, I was like, what is this? I love teaching virtually. I love not getting up to be at the school building. I love not dealing with behavior issues because we're literally looking through the screen. So if you want to talk, go ahead and talk. Just make sure you're on mute. It just opened my world to like, wow, we can teach like this and we can still get stuff done. It was the ideal thing for me. I know that I talked to many teachers and they didn't like the virtual learning. Don't get me wrong, there were a lot of adjustments. You had to be innovative. Of course, in math, you want to be able to see students work. You want to be able to see in real time. You had to literally create a virtual classroom, and that part was fun. I actually had so much fun using the digital world to engage my students. After the pandemic, we were expected to come back to school. And when I tell you, I was not ready for that transition. Now, I'm not no rookie teacher, and I definitely was out of practice for 2 years. When I returned to school, I was like, what the hell is this? So imagine us teachers going through this new thing, being isolated for nearly 2 years, and now stepping back into the building. First of all, you don't feel safe. You constantly have to tell students keep their mask up. Parents don't want them to be tested. It's craziness. We noticed that students did not return to school in their correct developmental stage. When you're in elementary and middle school, you learn how to be a student. You learn organizational tools. You learn how to share with people. You learn how to be in the same space with people. And I'm telling you, I teach 6th grade, and these 6th graders came back like 4th graders. What we were seeing from them, we've never experienced before. We could not bridge the gap on content and behavior. Like, I was a full-time babysitter and I wasn't having it. For teachers who love teaching their content, it made it impossible to even get through a whole lesson. 2 months in, 3 months in, I was beginning to see my mental health change. I was beginning to see physical change. I was about 15 to 20 pounds heavier than this. So I was not intentionally trying to lose weight. The stress around September, October, early November was so heavy that I was forgetting to eat. Everything was off. I remember my stomach physically being upset when I walked into the building. October, I had a panic attack where I literally called my boss and I couldn't breathe. I've never called my boss on anything emotional like that. I've never been comfortable enough to be like, hey, I can't come to school tomorrow. I am not my best self for students. I'm giving way more than I have to students, and that's leaving me with nothing. It's impacting my home life, it's impacting my personal life, it's impacting relationships, it's impacting how I interact with people. Like, I am drained. The tenacious person in me was like, no, I'm not gonna quit. I'm not a quitter. I've never been a quitter. So I would truck along and continue to do what I know to do. And I would literally get sick thinking about, can I stay to the end of the year? It was all wrong for me. So that was another strike on like, no, I need to get up out of here. So this led to me making my decision, like, you know what? I'm leaving. I knew I was leaving my school in October. I talked to my boss in November and I said, hey, I can't do this anymore. I made up my mind. We have another option. Everything needs to be changed. The structure of the classroom is the same. It's been the same for the past 50 years. You don't have to continue doing what we've been doing for years. It's okay to be innovators. It needs to be changed. Like from inside out, upside down. Most of the people who pass along laws, they have never taught a day in their lives. All the people want to know is, for each student, we get an amount of money. Let's make sure we keep these students in the classroom. During this school year, I've learned so much about myself. I learned how to advocate for myself and ask for help. Before I could even ask for help and tell my boss, hey, I'm not 100% and I can't show up, I had to first listen to my body. I knew that was an issue. My eating habits, my sleep habits, things started changing, and that was the #1 sign. I understood that for me to continue to be a teacher, I had to first be vulnerable with myself and my close people around me in order to be vulnerable at work and around people who really didn't know me. I'm a human before I'm a teacher. I'm a human before I take on any role. I had to let my higher ups know and let them address my human needs and not be afraid of saying, I cannot fulfill this duty and I'm not going to overlook my personal needs for this job, period. Another thing that I learned about myself is I cannot be afraid to quit. I am not married to any job. I think that there is this stigma in the world where it's just like, of course, older people tell millennials all the time, like, oh, you don't know how to keep a job, or you need to stay here for a very long time. They think we're supposed to work one job until retirement. That is not the case. You can switch jobs as many times as you want. I don't care. If I am not happy with a job, it's time for me to go, and I'm not gonna stay for any amount of money. So hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to my reasons on why I quit, and hopefully this resonated with you. #1 thing I want to stamp here is people's safety and people knowing what's best for them. Go ahead and quit that job if you feel like you need to quit. You know what's best for you. If there's anything that you feel like you want to add, or if you agree 100% or even disagree, go ahead and put that in the comments. Let's start a conversation. If you have not already, go ahead and click that like button. Go ahead and share it. You know, it helps us out and it gives us an incentive to make more videos. So like, share, comment. We're looking at all of that.
And subscribe.
And subscribe. And subscribe.